Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you've been playing this game right now. As you're watching this, there's probably a woman in your life who knows exactly how you feel about her. And I don't mean she has a vague suspicion, I mean she knows you like her. She's picked up on every sign you've been trying to hide, and she's been aware of it for a while now. The crazy part, she's pretending she doesn't know. See, here's what most guys don't understand about women and attraction. You think you're being subtle, you think you're hiding your feelings, you think if you haven't said the words out loud, then she has no idea. But that's not how it actually works. Women are incredibly perceptive, especially when it comes to reading romantic interest. They pick up on things you don't even realize you're doing. Women aren't going to call you out and say, "Hey, I know you like me." They're going to act like they're oblivious while secretly being very aware of exactly how you feel. And they do this for reasons that make perfect sense once you understand the psychology. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you've been thinking, you're keeping your feelings hidden, when in reality, she's known the whole time, and she's been responding to that knowledge in ways you haven't recognized. I'm talking about the way she acts around you, the things she says, the opportunities she creates or doesn't create, the subtle ways she acknowledges your interest without directly addressing it. These aren't random behaviors. These are calculated responses to something she already knows. And here's the thing that's going to blow your mind once a woman knows you like her. Everything changes, the dynamic shifts. She has power, she has information. And how she handles that information tells you everything you need to know about whether she's interested back or just enjoying the attention. So let me ask you something and be honest with yourself as I go through these signs. How many of these behaviors are you seeing? Because if even three of these resonate with what's happening with a specific woman in your life, I guarantee she knows you like her. And what she's doing with that knowledge will tell you whether you should make a move or move on. Sign one, she teases you about things that are suspiciously specific. Let me paint you a picture. You're talking to her, and she makes a comment, something playful about how you always seem to be where she is, or how you remember things she tells you, or how you act different around her compared to other people. Maybe she says it with a smile, maybe she acts like she's just joking. But the comment is oddly specific, oddly accurate. You probably laugh it off. Think she's just being playful. Think it's just random teasing wrong when a woman teases you about behaviors that directly relate to you. Liking her, she knows she's poking at the truth without directly confronting it. She's essentially saying, "I see what you're doing," without actually saying it. But here's what's really happening in her mind. She's acknowledged your interest in a way that gives her plausible deniability. If you deny it, she can say she was just joking. If you admit it, she's forced a confession without having to be direct herself. It's a strategic move disguised as playfulness. You see, this is just friendly banter, maybe even think. It means she's clueless, but what's really happening is that she's fully aware, and she's testing the waters. She's seeing how you'll respond to her, acknowledging what you think is your secret. This is happening because women are observant. They notice when you look at them, they notice when you go out of your way to be around them. They notice when you treat them differently than you treat everyone else. And once they notice, they don't just forget, they file it away, and sometimes they tease you about it. Pay attention. Next time, does she make jokes about you liking someone, but looking at you when she says it does? She tease you about being nice to her or always being available? Does she make comments that hit suspiciously close to the truth? That's not coincidence. That's her way of saying, "I know," without having to actually say it. But here's the key detail. How does she tease you? Is it gentle and encouraging, or is it dismissive and creating distance? If her teasing is playful, and she seems to enjoy your reaction, she might be interested. And she's flirting by acknowledging what you both know. If her teasing has an edge, or she seems to be creating distance, she knows. And she's letting you know subtly that it's not mutual. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Teasing about attraction is a way to acknowledge an elephant in the room without actually addressing it directly. It allows her to show awareness while maintaining control of the situation. Sign 2. She brings up your dating life or asks about other girls. This one's huge, and most guys completely miss what it really means you're talking to her. And she asks if you're seeing anyone, or she asks about another girl you mentioned, or she seems curious about your dating life, or she makes comments about the type of person you'd be good with. You probably think she's just being friendly, just making conversation, just curious in a general way. But let me tell you what's really happening when a woman knows you like her and she brings up your dating life. She's doing one of two things. Either she's trying to figure out if you're available and serious about pursuing her, or she's trying to redirect your attention elsewhere because she's not interested. Here's the psychology behind it. If she knows you like her, your romantic availability becomes relevant information. If she's interested, she wants to know if she has competition. If she's not interested, she might be hoping you'll mention someone else so she can encourage that and deflect your attention from her. But there's another layer here. Pay attention to how she asks and how she responds if she asks about your dating life and seems pleased when you say you're single. That's significant if she asks and then seems to try to set you up with other people. That's also significant. But in the opposite direction, women who know you like them don't ask about your dating life randomly. They ask because your romantic situation is now relevant to them personally. The question itself is an acknowledgement that she's aware of your interest, even if she's acting casual about it. The fact that she's asking means she's thinking about you in a romantic context. She's categorized you as someone whose relationship status matters, and that doesn't happen unless she knows. You see her as more than just a friend? This is happening more than you realize. Start paying attention. Does she seem to steer conversations toward your love life? Does she ask questions about what you're looking for in a partner? Does she seem to be gathering information? These are all signs she's operating with the knowledge that you like her. And here's the critical tell watch what she does with the information. If you say you're single and she seems happy or starts being more flirty, she's interested, and she was checking if the path is clear. If you say you're single and she immediately tries to set you up with her friend, she knows you like her, and she's trying to let you down easy without direct confrontation. Sign 3, she creates situations to see how you'll react. Here's where it gets really interesting. You notice that she seems to test you. She mentions going on a date with someone else and watches your reaction. She talks about another guy finding her attractive and gauges your response. She creates scenarios that would make someone who likes her jealous or reactive, and then pays close attention to how you handle it. You probably think these are just random conversations, just her sharing her life with you. But there's something much deeper happening here. When a woman knows you like her, she becomes curious about how deep those feelings go. And one way to find out is to create situations that would trigger a reaction from someone who's interested. She's not being cruel, she's gathering information. Here's the psychology. When we know someone likes us, we become curious about the extent of that interest. Is it a passing attraction or genuine feelings? Would they be jealous? Would they fight for our attention? These tests help answer those questions. That woman who mentions other guys around you who talks about dates. She's been on who seems to be checking if you'll react with jealousy or indifference. She knows you like her, and she's trying to figure out what to do with that information. You see this as her just living her life, but what's really happening is that she's operating with full awareness of your feelings, and she's using that awareness to guide her behavior. Every mention of another guy, every situation that could provoke jealousy, is strategic. This is happening because she's trying to make a decision. If you react with obvious jealousy, she learns your feelings are strong, and she has to decide if she wants to reciprocate or create distance. If you don't react at all, she might think she was wrong about you liking her, or she might think you're not interested enough. Pay attention next time when she mentions other guys. Does she watch your face? Does she seem to be waiting for a reaction? Does she bring up romantic situations and then pause to see how you'll respond? That's not random conversation, that's intentional testing, but here's what you need to understand about these tests. They're not just about seeing if you're jealous, they're about seeing if you're confident. If you react with insecure jealousy, that's unattractive. If you react with mature confidence, that's attractive. How you handle these moments when she knows you like her will actually impact whether she decides she likes you back. Sign 4, she maintains plausible deniability while encouraging you. This sign is all about contradictions, and most men get completely confused by it. She acts interested, she's warm, she's available, she laughs at your jokes, She spends time with you, but if you try to escalate or be more direct, suddenly she pulls back or acts confused or says something that could be interpreted as just friends. Each interaction seems to send mixed signals, but when you step back, there's a clear pattern. She's keeping things ambiguous on purpose. Here's what's really happening when a woman knows you like her, but hasn't decided if she likes you back or isn't ready to admit it. She creates what psychologists call plausible deniability. She acts in ways that could be interpreted as interest or as just friendship, depending on what's convenient in the moment. The psychology behind this is fascinating. By maintaining ambiguity, she gets to enjoy the attention and connection without having to commit to anything or reject you directly. She can keep you interested while she decides what she wants or while she enjoys having someone who likes her. Around that woman who seems into you one moment and distant the next, who encourages you but never quite lets things progress, who acts like more than a friend but insists you are just friends. She knows you like her and she's keeping her options open. You see this as her being confused or not knowing how she feels, but what's really happening is that she knows exactly what she's doing. She's aware of your interest. She probably even knows she's sending mixed signals, and she's doing it intentionally because it serves her purposes. This is happening because knowing someone likes you is powerful, and some women will string that along. They're not necessarily being malicious. They might genuinely be figuring out their feelings, or they might just enjoy having someone interested in them without the pressure of having to reciprocate, pay attention to this. Does she seem interested but never quite available? Does she encourage you, but always stop short of anything definite? Does she keep you in this weird zone where you're more than friends, but never quite crossing that line? If yes, she knows you like her, and she's managing that knowledge in a way that benefits her. But here's the hard truth. If this pattern continues for weeks or months without progression, she's likely not going to suddenly decide she's interested. She's comfortable with the current dynamic where she gets attention without commitment. And unless you force clarity, that's where things will stay. Sign 5, she tells other people about you in specific ways. This one's going to make you think about your social circle. Have you noticed that mutual friends seem to know things about you and her that you didn't tell them? Have people made comments suggesting they think something's going on between you two? Has she apparently been talking about you to others? You probably think people are just gossiping or making assumptions. But let me tell you what's really happening when a woman knows you like her. She often talks about it to her friends. She processes it. She gets advice. She mentions you frequently enough that people in her circle become aware of the situation. Here's the deeper psychology. Women process their feelings and situations socially. They talk to friends. They get outside perspectives if you like her. That's something significant happening in her life. And it's natural she'd discuss it, that woman, whose friends seem to smile knowingly when they see you two together, whose friends have made comments or asked questions, whose social circle seems aware of some dynamic between you. She's been talking about you and about the fact that you like her. You see this as just gossip. But what's really happening is that she's been discussing the situation, which means she's been thinking about it enough to bring it up to others. You don't discuss someone with your friends unless they matter, unless there's something there to discuss. This level of social sharing isn't random friendship behavior. It's what happens when someone is occupying mental and emotional space in her life. She knows you like her, and that knowledge has become something she's processing with the people close to her. Most guys miss this completely because they're not paying attention to the social dynamics. But if you notice that her friends act differently around you, or that people seem to know more than they should, that information came from somewhere, she's the source. And here's what makes this sign really telling. Pay attention to how her friends treat you. If they're encouraging and friendly and seem to be pushing you two together, she's probably been saying positive things. If they're protective or creating distance, she's probably been expressing uncertainty or lack of interest. The psychology behind why she won't just admit she knows now that we've covered the 5 signs. You might be wondering if she knows I like her. Why doesn't she just admit it? Why all this pretending and indirect behavior? Understanding this psychology will help you recognize what's really happening and what you should do about it first. There's social grace. Directly acknowledging that someone likes you puts them in a vulnerable position. If she admits she knows you like her, you're forced to either confirm it and risk rejection, or deny it and feel embarrassed by maintaining the illusion that she doesn't know. She protects both of you from that awkwardness. Second, there's power dynamics. Once she openly acknowledges knowing you like her, she has to do something about it, either reciprocate or reject you as long as she pretends not to know. She can delay that decision and maintain the current dynamic. Third, there's fear. If she admits she knows and you confirm it, the relationship has to change for better or worse by pretending she doesn't know. She keeps things in a comfortable holding pattern where nothing has to change. Yet fourth, she might be hoping you'll make a clear move by not admitting she knows. She leaves the door open for you to be direct to ask her out, to make your intentions clear, and then she can respond to that direct action rather than to her own observations. Here's the key insight: her pretending not to know isn't necessarily about deceiving you. It's about managing a socially complex situation in a way that feels safe for both of you, but it also keeps things in limbo. What this means for you and what to do about it: if you're recognizing multiple of these signs from the same woman, she knows you. Like, her pretending she doesn't know isn't protecting either of you anymore. It's just creating a weird dynamic. But awareness is just the first step. What matters is what you do with this information. If you're interested in her and she knows you're interested, but you haven't been direct, it's time to change that. Stop hoping she'll magically make the first move. Stop waiting for perfect certainty. Be direct, ask her out clearly. Here's a simple approach. Say something like, "I really enjoy spending time with you, and I'd like to take you out on an actual date. Would you be interested in that?" This removes all ambiguity, it forces clarity. It ends the game of pretending. If she knows you like her and you ask her out directly, one of two things will happen. Either she'll say yes because she's been waiting for you to be clear, or she'll say no, and you can finally stop wondering and move on. But here's what you absolutely cannot do. You cannot keep playing this game where you both pretend. She doesn't know when she clearly does that. Benefits no one. It keeps you in limbo. It prevents you from moving forward either with her or with someone else. Understand that once a woman knows you like her, the dynamic has already changed. Pretending it hasn't doesn't reset anything. Being direct doesn't create risk that doesn't already exist. The risk is already there. You've already shown your hand. Remember, most of these signs where she knows but won't admit it come from her being uncertain or cautious, not from her definitely not being interested. The only way to find out is to force clarity through direct action. Final thoughts: if you're seeing 3 or more of these signs from the same woman she knows, stop pretending. She doesn't. Stop hoping the situation will resolve itself without you having to be vulnerable. She knows you like her, and now you have a choice. You can keep playing this weird game of mutual pretending, or you can be brave enough to be direct and find out where you actually stand. The longer you wait, the more awkward it becomes. The more time you waste, the more you risk her losing interest or finding someone else who will be direct. So here's my challenge. Think about the woman in your life who's showing these signs. Admit to yourself that she knows. Then decide what you're going to do about it. Ask her out. Be clear. Be direct. Give her the chance to respond honestly instead of both of you dancing around what you both already know. And remember, somewhere right now, there might be a woman who knows you like her, who's been waiting to see if you'll have the courage to do something about it, who's wondering if you're interested enough to be direct. The question is, will you keep pretending, or will you finally be honest about what you both already know?